Alright, Shalom, this is the brother Ataza Wamia from GMS South Carolina camp. I want to first and foremost give all praises to Yahweh Shemal Shai. Double honors to those a great millstone taught me his truth. Shalom to the Akim out there pushing the truth and sincerity. Alright, this is I'm gonna highlight the time we in and the prophecies, and I'm gonna put the link to this video in the description box because it's pretty long. It's 24 minutes and 15 seconds. It was basically an article off of Russia Today saying the dollar is valueless and about to crash. World Bank whistleblower. Okay, so we can go through the scriptures and show that that's part of the signs of the time, because the main thing now, you have temporary government shutdown. Alright, which we in the second week of that, and on October 17th, if they don't do something, alright, and deal with this debt ceiling, that America's going to default, and the economists, those that study the economy, they're saying that this will lead into the crash of the dollar and might even crash the stock market. Okay, so this is all according to prophecy. Alright, so, and the main thing is the Obamacare. Okay, now, like I said before, we said it on the street that under Obamacare law, which is a law that a full-time worker will consist of 30 hours, not 40 plus. So they basically moving people down from being full-time to part-time. Okay, which that also ties into prophecy too about the jobs. There ain't gonna be that many jobs out here. So, with that said, let me get into the scriptures. Alright. First, let's start with Matthew 24:3. Alright. It says, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Okay, that was the question of the disciples, because it said the end of the world. That world right there is eon, which means a age or a period of time. Okay, alright, and the age we in, okay, is the age of Esau, the so-called white man. Okay, and his kingdom. We in the last leg of the Roman Empire. Okay, it's a lot. Let me get that in Second Esdras. Back that up. Second Esdras. The Apocrypha, Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 7. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting sunder of times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. Going back to the account in Genesis, you can read that in Genesis 25, verse 21 through 26 on your own. It says, For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay. And when speaking about Jacob, it's talking about the kingdom of heaven, which is promised to be given to the children of Israel. This is Acts 1:6. It says, And when they therefore came together, they asked him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom of Israel? Okay. Alright. So, when the Lord come back, that was to establish, his second return is to establish the kingdom of heaven. Okay. So, they was asking, when is the end of this age? And the beginning of it that followeth, which is what? The time of Jacob, the time of the Israelites, the time of the righteous, where the people will rejoice. Okay. Alright. So let's go to Luke chapter 21, verse 25. It says, And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Alright. Let me get that in the blue letter. Perplexity. Okay, I'm gonna have the guy say it for me. My pronunciation of Greek ain't that awesome. Alright. This is one of the signs of the time that there will be let's say, and upon the earth distress of nations. Now right now the United States, the people are in distress. Alright? Due to the fact the government shut down, due to the fact that their precious fiat currency, their money that they trust in, the dollar, is about to basically come to naught, which it was always set up to be that, to fall. This is the Greek word for perplexed.
Strong's G 640, aparia. Aparia.
Aparia, which means a state of quaggery, at a loss for a way, perplexity, finding no solution to their embarrassment, of being at one's wit's end, at a loss how to proceed without resources. Alright? That's what the word means. And that all fits America and this whole situation with this debt. Okay? Now when you go back to the root of that word, it's this.
Strong's G 639, apareo. Apareo.
Apareo, which means to have no way out, i.e. be at a loss mentally, stand in doubt, be perplexed, to be without a way, to be without resource, embarrassed, in doubt, perplexity, at loss. Okay, so I'm going to read that verse again. This is Luke 21:25. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Alright? And the seas and the waves roaring, which we always go through that, is talking about these protests. You got people that work for the government that haven't been able to go back to work or get paid, because most government workers are not getting paid due to this partial shutdown of the government. So those that work for the government that ain't getting paid, they're out protesting about they want their money. Alright, so that's the sea and the waves roaring. That's talking about the people protesting. Alright, which that also ties in with this. Luke 21:9, it says, but when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. Now that word commotion right there is Strong's Greek 181, akatastia, which means instability, i.e. disorder, commotion, confusion, tumult. Okay. Alright. And that's what the people are doing. They're being tumultuous against the governments. Alright. Mainly the government of the United States, their own people, due to the fact they can't support themselves. Alright. It says, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Okay. Let's go to Nahum. Nahum chapter 3, verse 18. It says, thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Now this is talking about America. Okay? Because America is spiritually known as Egypt, Sodom, Nineveh, Assyria, Egypt. I said Egypt, Salat. Rome. Okay? And then in this scripture is talking about America. Okay? Because they compare it to the Assyrians. It says, thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Alright? Talking about your leaders. Okay? They all perplexed. They're at their wits' end. Dust represents confusion. So they're in a low state of confusion. Okay? Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. Okay? There is no healing of thy bruise. All right, and that's going into what this whole topic is about: the collapse of the dollar due to the fact of the debt that America has accumulated by means of this fiat paper money that you people adore, which is your so-called dollar. Okay, it is not backed by anything, therefore it's a debt-bearing note, which now is coming to the point where they have to cash in or default on their debt. And what that means the total destruction of the dollar and the bringing in of the solution, which is the RFID chip, which is part of the Obamacare law. Okay, classified as a type 2 medical device. Okay, and it's like on page 1000B. Okay, way deep into that whole thing. Okay, alright, so this whole thing where the leaders are all confused and they acting like they don't know what to do, alright, that's all staged because they all are working for the same people. They all have the same agenda. The agenda is to destroy the dollar, to bring in that RFID chip, and it's all set up to fulfill prophecy. Okay, alright, let me get a precept real quick. This is Obadiah. It's a lot. Obadiah verse 6, it says, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?" Okay, that's right. And in that that video that I'm gonna post the link for you to watch it, alright, where I had where, you know, this motivated me through the spirit of Yahweh, and I was trying to put out this video, that she said that all these things, the politicians, alright, the leaders and things, the government and their economic systems of this fiat paper money is all corrupt. Alright, and it all goes back, it's being controlled and funded by the elite banking families, which would be the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, alright, and the rest of those elite banking families. Okay, they control all this. Okay, so that's why it says, how are the things that Esau searched out, how are his hidden things sought up? Alright, verse 8, "Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?" That's right. So these politicians, alright, they're at their wits' end, man, because the Lord is destroying the so-called wisdom and knowledge and so-called wisdom of the so-called white man is being destroyed right before the people's eyes. Now they're at their wits' ends, they're with perplexity. Alright, Jeremiah 49:7-8, it says, concerning Edom, which Edom is you so-called white people, you're the Edomites, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, is the wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perish from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanish?" Yeah. Well, I just read that verse. Yeah, that's right. It has vanished, man. Okay. It has vanished. It says, "Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him." Okay. So right now, you so-called white people, you're getting visited by the Lord. Okay. And the word visit in the Hebrew is paquad, which means to punish. Okay, so he's visiting you or punishing you, alright, starting with all these plagues, natural disasters, and soon this money system which you people pride yourself in. Okay, alright. So back to Nahum 3:19, it says, "There is no healing of thy bruise, thy wound is grievous." Okay, now what is that wound? Let's go to Habakkuk 2, and I'll start at 4, and the point is in 6. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not a right in him." And that's talking about the so-called white man, okay, because he's not right. He's proud, okay. It says, "But the just shall live by faith. Faith cometh by hearing the word. And the just is the elect, which is the Israelites. Verse 5, it says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Okay, that wine that he trespassed with is all his philosophies, democracy, this fiat paper currency, so-called stock market, alright, and his way of life being sodomites, alright. Okay, that's how he transgressed. And he done got all the nations to accept those ways, and now they seeing that it's madness and it's unprofitable. Now they starting to turn against America and you so-called white people. It says, and he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Alright, because America, just like the ancient Roman Empire before they fell, their military was spread thin because they was in so many provinces and so many lands trying to maintain their power. It's the same with America. America is all over the world, alright, with embassies and stationed in this land and that land, and oppressing the people, okay, trying to sustain their power. That's what it means. He neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied. Okay, talking about the so-called white man. He's a person who has the whole world in his hands right now, alright, but he's not satisfied, okay, and he is deaf, because everywhere he goes he brings death, destruction, alright, and on all levels, spiritually, alright, getting the people believe in his madness, basically becoming atheists, alright. What's another thing? Or Luciferians. Physically, he just kill you or he poison you with his food and his way of living, alright. And mentally, he completely dumbed down the people to the point that they're just complete buffoons and retards, man. And America is a perfect example of the people being destroyed by him, man. Alright? Because he is deaf. He brings spiritual, physical, and mental death. Okay? Through his wickedness. Okay? And cannot be satisfied. But gather unto him all nations, and heap up unto him all people. And that's going into this new world order. Now that's the whole end game of this whole charade, with the partial shutdown of the government, the fiat money, the U.S. currency, which is fiat money, which is not backed by any raw material or resources like gold, silver, precious metals, or even like food and stuff. It's not backed by anything. Okay, so it's a debt-bearing note. So once it collapses, you people gonna bug out and go crazy, all right? And it'll be the perfect time for them to bring in the one world government, all right, and the one world currency, which will be the RFID chip, which is a part of Obamacare bill. I mean law now, because it's signed into law, okay? And then they gonna implement that one world religion, okay, which is basically doing away with all religions and just worshiping straight up Satan, man. Okay, cut the facade, all right, and just worship Satan, and that's what they want to bring. That's why it says he heapeth unto him all people and gather unto him all nations. Okay, but the Lord ain't gonna allow that to happen. Verse 6, it says, shall not all these talking about the nations take up a parable against him, against who? The so-called white man in America, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay. Now you look up that word clay in the Hebrew, is Strong's Hebrew 5671. It's ibat yat, which means weight of pledges, heavy debts. Now that debt ceiling scenario, and which one one person that's an expert in the economic studies or whatever, he came out and said, which brothers we already know, that it's actually higher than 17 trillion. It's way more than that. They just push that number to keep you people thinking it's not as bad as it really is, but it's really bad. Okay? So that's the time we in. The nation is starting to mock America, and a great example of that is BRICS, okay, which the lady gonna mention. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're all in alignment, or they have an agreement amongst each other, and they call this BRICS, okay? And they deal with their own currency, and what they make the difference. If they have to make the difference, they use gold. They totally drop the US dollar, and they do not use it as a means, as a universal currency amongst themselves trading. They use their own money, alright, their own currency, and then they make up the difference with gold, which is real money. Gold, silver, alright. So that's them taunting America. Okay? Alright? And if you notice, these are the same nations that's started to speak out against America. Okay? And about its ways, man. Alright? Alright? Verse 7 says, shall they not rise up suddenly that bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Alright? Meaning they're going to destroy America. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of man's blood, and for violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein. Okay, that's right. So back to Nahum 3:19. There is no healing of thy bruise, thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hands over thee. For upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continually? Okay, that's right. Talking about the so-called white man. Let's go into that bruise. Alright, this is Jeremiah 51:7. It says, Babylon, well, I'll start at 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon. Talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It doesn't mean leave the country. It means to separate yourself from the mindset that we gonna be here. Okay? You should have that mindset, this ain't my rest, this ain't my final place, because this place about to be destroyed. So that's what it means, flee out the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Talking about America. So we're in the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he gonna take vengeance upon all his enemies. Alright? And the so-called white man is one of his enemies. Nahum 1:2. God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserve a wrath for his enemies. Okay? The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked, which the wicked is the so-called white man. The Lord have his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. So it'll tell you the Lord revenger. Okay, so we in the time of the Lord's vengeance and his payback. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunk. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Okay, so that's what you're starting to see. The people, which I brought this out last week, it's reported that the people are denouncing their citizenship and residence here in the United States and going to live in other countries. Okay, because America is falling, man. And best believe a lot of people that's seeing this, that understand money, meaning these other nations, they're actually leaving because they see that the fate of this place is gonna collapse, man. And once that dollar collapsed, which that's what these nations came over here to make money, all right, then they know this place is done, because that's the only thing that's actually somewhat supporting or keeping this place up is the people's belief that this money is real money. Okay, all right. And really, this money is built off of usury. Okay, which the Lord ain't dealing with usury. Okay, that's an abomination. Alright? Because the dollar is a form of measurement. Okay? This is Deuteronomy. So Deuteronomy 23:19. It says, "Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury." Okay, that's right. Now, what is usury? Usury is like what they call it, interest. All right, like for an example, if I was somebody wanted to borrow from me, if I lend it to them, what they should give back whenever they return what I gave them, i.e. a loan. They supposed to return back what they had borrowed. So like if they say, oh, let me get $5. I give them $5. So when they like, okay, when you pay me back, you pay me $5. That's a just balance, not interest. Okay, you pay me $5 and then you throw on 15% interest on that. Okay, that's usury. Okay, I'll read it again. Deuteronomy 23:19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Okay. All right. This is it's a lot. Leviticus 19:35. It says, "Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, and meat yard, in weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephod, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt." Okay, so that so-called money, all right, is basically a false balance. Okay, because it's built upon usury. All right, and that's how they get you people into debt, and that's how you end up becoming basically slaves. All right. That's how you become servants or slaves. All right. This is Proverbs 22:7. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." Okay. And when you look up that word servant, it's ibad, which is synonymous with slave. Okay. So the borrower is a slave to the lender, because the rich ruleth over the poor. So that's what this whole fiat paper money system was set up for, was to get you people into debt, which that also ties in with the so-called American dream, which is basically built upon covetousness and greed, to get you people to think about living outside your means. So by living outside your means, you're going to go and seek things outside your means, basically outside of your ability to pay for it. Therefore, you go get loans, and then what you become a debt slave to the elite banking family. So you accumulate all this debt, okay, and now they want their money. What that makes you? That makes you a slave, okay. All right. So all you fucking excuse my language, but all you proud people that boast yourselves and all your stuff don't belong to you, okay, because it's all accumulated by false money and by credit, all right, which is nothing but debt, okay, loans, debt, this paper fiat money, debt, and they gonna come and repo your stuff because they have something called the National Preparedness Reserve Act, which became an executive order which they signed into law. Basically means when they implement martial law, which they're preparing for martial law, they can take your stuff, all right, because it becomes theirs. Proverbs 10 and 15, it says, the rich man's wealth is his strong city, the destruction of the poor is their poverty. Okay, a lot of people are going to be destroyed after this collapse of this money. Okay, all right, a little bit more about the money, and I'm going to switch it up. This is Micah 6 and 10. It says, are there yet treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and a scant measure that is abominable? Shall I count them pure with wicked balances, and with the bags of deceitful weights? For the rich man thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouths. Alright, and that fits your politicians and your leaders and stuff. Okay. This is Isaiah 10 and 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Now, the Obamacare law, okay, is a grievous unrighteous decree. A decree is a law, okay, and it says which they have prescribed. Per meaning before, and scribe means to write. So this was all pre-written and set up to fulfill an agenda, okay, to collapse the dollar, all right, to destroy the economies of the world, all right, to crash the stock market, and so that they can bring in the solution, all right, out of all that chaos with the RFID chip, okay, and that's going to become the new currency. But they hid it under this disguise as something for medical, okay. So it says, destruction unto them, or woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed. All right. Psalms 94 and 20. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frame mischief by a law? They gather themselves together against the souls of the righteous, and condemn the innocent blood. And that's what it's set up to do. It's set up to condemn the innocent blood, and basically to destroy the righteous, which are you Israelites. Because the whole thing, if you take that RFID chip, alright, then you're going to be destroyed. And I'm going to go through that, you know, and prove that, because that's the mark of the beast, okay. So this law, that Obamacare law, is basically mischief, man. And it's set up to destroy the poor. Okay. Verse 22. It says, but the Lord is my defense, and my rock, and my God is the rock of my refuge. Alright, going into the name. Alright, because Proverbs 18:10 said that the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and they that are and the righteous. Let me get it real quick. Proverbs 18:10. It says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Okay. Because the name of the Lord is a refuge. Okay. So like it says back in Psalms 94:22, the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord, our power, shall cut them off. Okay, because that law is built upon mischief. Habakkuk 1 and 4. It says, therefore the law is slack, talking about the laws of the Holy Bible, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Okay, that's right. Amos 5:7 says, Ye who turn judgment to wormwood and leave off righteousness in the earth. Okay, and that's what the so-called white man has done through these laws. Okay, and that's why America is known as the sinful kingdom, and that's why the Lord is going to destroy this place. Alright, Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Okay, alright, and that's right. That's why the Lord said, woe unto you women and them that woe unto them that are with child and them that give suck in those days. Because a lot of you women and children, a lot of these women depend upon the government. So their whole world is going to collapse with this government, and they gladly going to take the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, due to the fact that they trust in Egypt, or they trust in the so-called white man, which is not going to profit them. Okay, and that whole thing is set up to prey upon the woman, because the woman is easily manipulated or easily guided by into getting tricked. Example is with Eve. Okay, so that's why I said that widows, okay, a woman without a man, may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless, talking about their children. Okay, this is Ezekiel 22:22. It says, it's a lot. Oh, that's Exodus. Let me get this. Ezekiel 22:29 says, the people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery, and have vexed the poor and needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongly. Okay, and that's what happened. All right, and this you gonna see that once this dollar collapse, man. All right, go to what is that shit? Get Zephaniah. Zephaniah 1:9, it says, in the same day also will I punish all those that leapt on the threshold, which fill their master's house with violence and deceit. Alright? Meaning the Lord gonna get you politicians. He gonna destroy you. Okay? Verse 10, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crash from the hills. Now this is going into about the stock market. Okay, now the fish gate represent what? These markets where people buy food at. Okay, because there's going to be a famine out here. Alright, and it says a howling from the second, and a great crash from the hills. The hills is talking about Wall Street, stock market. Okay, it's going to crash due to the once this dollar fall. And they all say that. All the economic experts say that, and they can see that happening. Okay, and that's all according to the prophecies in the scriptures. Alright, proving the Bible is true. Verse 11, Zephaniah 1:11 says, how ye inhabitants of Mechtesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. Now that word Mechtesh was like a major place of merchants where they did a lot of trading in the ancient world. Now when you look up that word merchant, alright, it's Strong's Hebrew 3667. It's Kanayan, alright, which means merchant or trade. Alright, get Ezekiel, get Isaiah 23. Alright. Isaiah 23:7, it says, "Is this your joyous city, which antiquities is of ancient days? Her own feet shall carry her far off to sojourn. Who have taken this counsel against Tyre, the crowning city, whose merchants are princes, whose traffickers are as the honorable of the earth?" And that's talking about America, which that's another scripture referring to America as one of the ancient major cities, which is Tyre. Okay, because it says the crowning city, the joyous city. That's well, it's not joyous anymore because it's fallen, but in America it's that crowning city because this was the major place where people came to basically obtain riches and fame, man. Okay. And it was on top, but now it's fallen. So it ain't the crowning city anymore. It says, whose merchants are princes, whose traffickers are the honorable people, or honorable of the earth. That's right. And that goes into these bankers. Okay. Hosea 12:7. It says, "He is a merchant, the balances of deceit are in his hand. He loved to oppress." And that's talking about these elite banking families, which are the basically the rulers of the earth. Okay, they love to oppress and the deceit. What's it? The balances of deceit are in his hand. It says he is a merchant. Okay. So back to Isaiah 23:9. It says, "The Lord of hosts have purposed it to stain the pride of all glory, and to bring into contempt all the honorable of the earth." And that's what's gonna happen to a lot of these people, man. All right, that's gonna be one of the reasons why America's gonna be destroyed, and why their allies and these other nations gonna destroy it, because of money. Okay, it's already getting bad press about the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, how they had a part in the banks stealing money from the people of Cyprus to so-called bail out their make a bailout for their government. Okay, and if the IMF was behind that, which that's stationed in Washington D.C., okay, that ain't gonna stop them from doing that to you American people, which they probably gonna do that. All right, so it's gonna get real bad out here, man. All right, to bring into contempt, which means like a base state, all the honorable of the earth. "Pass through thy land as a river, O daughter of Tyrus. There is no more strength. He stretcheth out his hand over the sea. He shook the kingdoms. The Lord hath given a commandment against the merchant city to destroy the strongholds thereof." So that's right. So the Lord gonna destroy this place, man. When that stock market crash, and then people find out that their money is worthless, they gonna lose it, man. And they gonna look for someone to put the blame on, and that's gonna be you Americans, especially you so-called white people. Okay, and they gonna destroy you. All right. So Zephaniah 1:17, "How ye inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." Okay. This is Zephaniah 1:18. Well, 1:17. It says, well, I started at 14, I hopped to 17. Zephaniah 1:14, "The great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord." And that's what you see when we be out there teaching on the highways and byways, when we prophesying these things that are to come. It's a lot that that's the voice of the Lord, speaking about the day of the Lord, which is the destruction of this place and the salvation of the elect. Alright, at the same time it says, "The mighty man should cry there bitterly." Alright, talking about your leaders. Alright, verse 17. Zephaniah 1:17, it says, "And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord." So the reason why your politicians and your government can't come to no solution, and they always bickering, which all that is set up, the stage. But to give you people that facade, like if they don't know what the hell they doing, or they at their wits end, is because it's fulfilled prophecy, because they have sinned against the Lord. They have transgressed the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, which America claims they a Bible-believing country, going back to Ronald Reagan in 1983, signing the Bible into the law of the land. So that's why America's going to be destroyed, for being a bunch of fucking hypocrites and sinners, man. Alright? There's only repentance from sins is only given to the Israelites, not all you other nations. So you're basically marked for death. If you're going to stay here in America, you're going to be destroyed. Alright? It said, their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. Because when martial law is going to be implemented right when that dollar collapses, because they know that once that money collapses, people going to get upset, they're going to go irate, and they just going to start looting, going crazy, or like Jay like to say, go ham. And then what? They have to bring in order. Because remember, this man operate, his whole thing is order out of chaos. So he going to cause the chaos and then bring the solution, alright, to so-called established order again. And that's all they preparing for. Martial law, and for the collapse of this money, which can bring in martial law if it's a civil disturbance or rebellion or sedition amongst the people against the established government. And we in that time. So this is something to watch, okay? This is so it says the blood should be poured out as dust, and the flesh is done, because a lot of people are going to get destroyed in this. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them from the day of the Lord's wrath. Yeah, so you go get it, money, niggas. You stacks on stacks, racks on racks, niggas. You fucking Wall Street, stocks and bonds, niggas. You niggas gonna lose your money, man. Your money ain't gonna save you, man. Alright? Oh, and to you proud bitches that boast yourself and all this money you have, yeah, you gonna lose it too. Ain't gonna save you from no bullet, no hollow tip bullet, or from some nigga raping you, or from the famine, because that money is gonna be useless. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. He shall even make a speedy residence of all them that dwell in the land. That's right. Alright. Ezekiel 7:19. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. Woo! Man, that's cold. That's right. That money, you niggas loving money, that's a stumbling block under you. Alright? Scriptures tell you to be content with godliness with great content is great gain. Okay? And if you have food and raiment, be content. But you niggas want everything, so you're gonna be destroyed, man. Let me get that before I go into the mark of the beast, and I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay. This is 1 Timothy's. It's a lot. 1 Timothy's chapter 6. Verse 6, it says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and there is certain we can't carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. Alright, but this fits you niggas. Alright, which is gonna stumble, because when that paper dollar fall, all you niggas gonna bug out. Alright, and you gonna find out that you was a bunch of fools. Alright. 1 Timothy 6:9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, which is a trap, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Yep. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveteth after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So it's gonna get real bad out here for you people that thirst for money. Alright, scriptures say money is a defense, but this money is gonna collapse. So the real money, you're gonna come to find out the real money is having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? Which is gonna make those men that have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, that have the truth, make them more precious than fine gold. That's gonna be the commodity right there. Alright? Not no simple ass nigga with his pants dangling off his ass with dreads down to his fucking tailbone, talking about let's turning it up and Versace and all this shit. Like, you simp ass niggas like doing. All that coonery is gonna be out the door when they bring in this martial law and this chip. Alright? This is Revelations 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Now the devil right there is talking about the so-called white man. It ain't talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Okay? It's talking about the man who is also known as Satan and the devil, which is so-called white man. Okay? Which the word devil means deceiver and the word Satan means adversary, which he is. Okay? Alright? Having great wrath because he know that he have but a short time. Okay? And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, because I'm telling you, man, when this dollar collapse, alright, that's America's falling big time. Okay? And that wound is going to be grievous, man. Alright? And then people going to lose faith in America, and then that's going to cause them to have to regain order back with martial law. Okay? Which I already did a lesson about martial law, and I already did a lesson going thorough about the chip. Alright? So, you know, I'm not really going to get in depth like I do normally, because the videos is already up isolating those particular topics. So I'm just going to touch on it a little bit, but a few scriptures on it, and then, you know, I'm going to wrap it up. Alright? So it says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. The woman is the nation of Israel. Alright? And the man-child is who you really call Jesus Christ, which is Yahushua. Okay? This is Jeremiah 6 and 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. Alright? This is now who's the daughter of Zion? Zephaniah. Break that down. Zephaniah 3 and 14. So we get to understand. It says, sing, O daughter of Zion, shout, O Israel, be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. So the daughter of Zion, Jeremiah 6 and 2, I have likened the daughter of Zion, or Israel, to a comely and delicate woman. So this woman that the dragon is persecuting, which the dragon represents so-called white man, alright, which is another name for him, alright, is going to persecute the woman, alright, which brought forth the man-child. The man-child is who you really call Jesus Christ. Okay, verse 17, Revelations 12 and 17. The dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua. Okay, and the testimony of Yahushua, Revelations 19 and 10 is, I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and thy brethren, which have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Alright, so back in Revelations 12 and 17, it says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua. So what does that mean? That means that when martial law is implemented, they're going to seek to come and get us. Okay, the brothers that's teaching and stuff, which, Lord willing, I'll do a lesson on that about the time of trouble. Okay, because I don't think I ever did a sit down on that. And I think we touched on it a couple of times out on the street, but it's a more different situation when you do it as a sit down than as when you're on the street. Okay, because usually on the street you get interrupted. Okay, all right. So let's go to Revelations 2 and 10. So when they implement this, all right, they're gonna put people in 2 and 9 through 10. All right, they're gonna put people in concentration camps. All right, Revelations 2 and 9. All right, it says, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Talking about the Israelites. All right, they're in tribulation and poverty. All right, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the poorest people. All right, here in America and around the world, wherever your descendants are. So you're the Israelites, but thou art rich, going back to the knowledge, having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. That's true riches. Okay, that's that costly pearl that the Lord was speaking about in that parable about the merchant who seek the costly pearl. The pearl represents the parables of wisdom, which is the scriptures. Okay. And the hidden treasure is the scriptures. All right. So that's what makes you rich. And it says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Talking about you so-called Israelis, you so-called Jewish people. You wish you was a Jew. Okay, you bastards. And you elite banking families, you call yourself Jewish. Okay. So you the chief house of Satan, man. You the chief adversary of the Lord's people and against the Heavenly Father and His Son. And they're gonna destroy your plans. Alright, and Yahushua, who you really call Jesus Christ, is gonna enslave you elite banking families, man. Alright? He gonna put you in chains. Alright, and He gonna destroy your whole so-called New World Order. Fucking demons, man. Alright, verse 10, it says, Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Talking to the elect, the brothers. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. Alright. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. So, when they implement martial law, alright, and try to establish their New World Order, alright, the brothers that's been teaching, alright, we on the red list, okay. We basically set to die. That's why I said in 1 Corinthians chapter 4 that the apostles were set last, even unto death, okay. So, I mean, that's the severity of teaching this truth, that, you know, chances are you're gonna be a martyr for the truth, but the glorious thing about that, you ain't gonna partake in the second death, which is death by ICBM thermonuclear destruction. Alright? And the beautiful thing about that, not only you're not gonna taste of that, but you're gonna rule and reign and be highly glorified in the kingdom. Alright? Because you stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Alright? Okay, but let's go into this chip. So when they implement martial law and the government come down on you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and come for you brothers, and some of you brothers and sisters and those that believe, you're gonna get cast into the prisons, okay, martial law camps, and they're gonna torture some of you, alright, and then they're gonna try to break you down to take this chip, which we know is the mark of the beast. Alright, Revelations 13 and 15 says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Alright, that's what them camps for. They're gonna chop your heads off. Okay, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And that mark is talking about the RFID chip, all right, the Class 2 medical device in the Obamacare law. Okay, that's the mark of the beast, the RFID chip. Okay, because the word mark right there is charagma in the Greek, all right, which means an incision, all right, or imprintment, and it breaks down in two words. First part is charax, which means a stake. Second part is grapho, or the Greek word grapho, which means like to write or written records. And like it's set up to keep track of people's written records. Basically, it's like the elite banking family's way of permanently selling you as their slave. Okay, because remember, we got in Proverbs 22:7, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the lender or the borrower is servant to the lender. All right. So when they implement that chip, because everybody gonna be broke and they got cash in their debt, so what's gonna be the result or the solution to this whole thing? Let's use the RFID chip as a means, as currency, as well as medical. Okay, all right, because your cards, your debit cards, your bank cards, all that, they already have the RFID chip embedded into the card. That's how they track people's spending. All right, that's another reason why they want to destroy the dollar, so they can keep track of people better, because money doesn't have a trail. Okay, it doesn't leave a trail, but credit cards and cards have a trail. All right, that's why they want everybody to have direct deposit. They want everybody to use the banks so they can keep track of what people are doing. All right. So that's why I said back in Revelations 13, 16, and 17, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, that's right. So it's a judgment for that. Revelations 14, and I'll start at 8. It says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Talking about America. And once that dollar fall, man, that's really gonna speed things up. Okay, it's really gonna speed this process of this place being destroyed up, because it's gonna fall, man. All right, that great city. Alright, verse 9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. Alright, get that real quick. Psalms 11 and 5. See what that is. Psalms 11 and 5, it says, the Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. So that cup of the Lord's indignation is talking about them ICBM thermonuclear missiles, which is the modern day form of fire and brimstone. Okay. So back to Revelations 14 and 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay, that's right. So that's going to be the judgment of these people that take the RFID chip. Alright, and it says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. Meaning, America, once it's hit with these missiles, alright, it's going to burn for ages and ages, meaning for long periods of time until the fire subsides, and then this place will become a paradise for desert creatures. Okay, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints, which the saints are the Israelites. That's Psalms 148, 13 through 14. You can read it for yourself. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Yahushua. Okay. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and that and their works do follow them. Okay, that's right. So if you have to be a martyr, all right, or if that's your lot to die for the faith, all right, then hey, blessed is he that died in the Lord, man, and that your works follow you, all right. But like I said, the main focus of this lesson was to highlight that this whole hoopla over the partial government shutdown, the weakening of the dollar, this whole thing about the Obamacare, all right, it's all geared, the preparation for if the dollar fall, when it falls, because it is going to fall, and the fall of the stock market, all right, and the implementing of the RFID chip as the means of the solution for all the chaos and turmoil and all madness that's going to break out once that dollar fall, all right, as that being as the new currency, all right, that's all fulfilling prophecy, all right. So we in that time, so hopefully y'all brothers is edified. I want to say all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shai, all right, double honors to the elders of the great millstone, and shalom to the elect, all right, shalom.